So, I'll introduce what we're going to do today. We're going to have a discussion particularly about how do Housing First networks and platforms and national coordinations help us all to do the jobs that we want to do, but also help us to move that needle towards having a scaled-up approach to Housing First and Housing-led. How does that help us to move forward in our own context? And we were having discussions yesterday at coffee about how, contexts can be very different, but a lot of the work that we're trying to do is very similar across countries. So we hope to have a bit of a combination of that, like things that will sound very familiar to you, but also some, unique things that are different in different countries. So my name is Samara Jones, and I coordinate the Housing First Europe Hub, which brings together federal ministries, governments, ministries of housing and social affairs from countries like Belgium and France and Austria and Spain, as well as some cities, big organizations, small organizations. We were kicked off in 2016 by FEANSA, the European Network of Homeless Organizations, as well as Y Foundation in Finland. And we came together with a lot of organizations to say, okay, if housing is a solution to homelessness and Housing First is the key piece of that, how can we work together to make sure that we have high quality training, we have good research, we have good advocacy to make that happen? And so we've been working together with many people in this room and all the people on this stage and a lot of people beyond the room as well. And I think it's really helpful to think about how our collaborative efforts are helping us all to move forward in our own context. And we might even think about, at the end of today's session, to think about the European level context, because that's different and new at the moment, and there is maybe some potential with this affordable housing plan. So if that's something interesting, we could maybe have some questions and discussions on that at the end. But before we get started, I thought we'd ask everyone to introduce themselves just quickly, and then we've asked all the panelists here on the stage to prepare just a short sort of introduction about the situation of homelessness and Housing First in their own country. So we each have a little slide, and then we have some discussion questions that we've got ready for ourselves today. But we really want to engage with you as well, and people in the audience who work in Housing First and national coordinations or have any kinds of comments. We're really keen to hear from you as well. So we'll pick you out. If you don't volunteer, I might just ask you anyways. So watch out, be on your toes. But maybe we can just do a quick round of introductions, just say who you are and your name, and then we'll go into the formal introductions. So maybe we'll start with David and go around.
Okay, good morning. My name is David Valoch, and I'm from Prague. I'm from Platform for Social Housing, and I'm proud to represent here this wonderful organization that I will describe later.
Hello, my name is Muriel Alla. I'm from Brussels, Belgium, and I'm co-directing a Housing First program for 12 years.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Julia von Lindern. I'm the CEO of the Federal Association Housing First in Germany.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emine Özkan. I am the director of the Association Housing First Austria and responsible also for the federal program Wohnschirm Housing First on behalf of the Ministry of Social Affairs.
Great. And I think we'll stay with you, Emine, because I think the first slide is yours. And so maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about the situation of homelessness in Austria, and also, maybe a few notes about how it came to be that Austria now has the Wohnschirm, I can't say it, program.
Wohnschirm, yeah.
Wohnschirm, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so on the slide you can see, first of all, Wohnschirm Housing First is a federal program in Austria by the Federal Ministry of Social Affairs. And we have population in Austria around 9 million people, so it's a quite small country with a very interesting housing situation. As you might know, we have a very strong social housing system, meaning limited profit housing associations and also municipal housing. But still in Austria we do have homelessness, and there are around 20,000 people registered as homeless each year for a few years now. But of course, this number does not include all the people who are in hidden homelessness. So the umbrella organization of the homelessness services in Austria, BAVO, thinks that the numbers must be twice as high as 20,000. So. Yeah, in Austria, the Federal Ministry of Social Affairs owns a program called Wohnschirm, which translates in housing umbrella. And the Wohnschirm is a program that offers eviction prevention and also housing first. So this is a quite new program, and the part which deals with Housing First. Housing First started a year ago in 24, and by now we have in 7 federal states, 7 out of 9, we have 51 service centers, Housing First support centers, run by 26 different NGOs in the country. This means our partners are active both in large cities, such as Vienna, but also in rural areas throughout the country. So the participating organizations work according to the Housing First principles. They provide social work, they allocate affordable housing, and accompany the people before, during, and after moving into their new flats. An important feature in our program lies in unlocking affordable housing, because, as I said before, we have a huge segment of social housing, limited profit housing associations. There are more than 170 different associations or cooperatives in Austria. But unfortunately, there are also obstacles to get or regarding the accessibility of these flats. So the program, Housing First Austria, is, we are like taking these obstacles by paying the upfront costs before a tenancy contract is possible. You might think of deposits, as you may know in your countries also, but in Austria there is something which is called Finanzierungsbeitrag, which is a kind of upfront costs depending on the construction costs of a building. And by paying this, the rent you're going to pay is very low. So the Ministry of Social Affairs has the grants to pay these costs, and if a person moves out for whatever reason, the money is returned back to the Ministry of Social Affairs. So this is a very specific and technical situation in Austria, but for us, for the Wohnschirm Housing First, it's a key element and a very special feature to provide access to very secure tenancy contracts and a low rent. So my organization, called Housing First Austria, is doing the processing of this program. We are implementing the operational side of this program on the national level, which means we are the ones who are paying the deposits, we are the ones who are paying the social services for providing the Housing First support, and we also do ensure the quality of the services. So we also do quality audits, if you know what I mean. So we are working on the same standards in the 7 participating federal states, which is also very new for Austria and the homelessness services. Other strategic services we provide is knowledge management. So we do provide Housing First training for the participating social organizations, such as webinars. We do have a community of practice. We have like annual gathering like this, but for like in a smaller setting. And yeah, we do. We also offer a knowledge platform, so to have exchange about different topics. What we also have is stakeholder management, so we engage also with lots of different stakeholders, such as housing providers, administration, experts from research and universities, and all relevant stakeholders that is important. So, yeah, you see a map of Austria, and the violet umbrellas are the cities and also places with counseling centers. You can see also on the map that it's not only the big cities such as Vienna or Graz, it's also in the rural area that we are operating. This is just in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And I think it's really interesting. Also, I don't know of other national platforms that have included housing first and prevention in the same. So I think that's a really interesting aspect and an interesting example to look towards. So thank you. That's great. Maybe we'll move. Are there any specific questions right now for Emina about housing first in Austria? Okay, you guys need some more coffee. Okay, now we move on to David to tell us about Czechia.
Okay, so the situation in Czech Republic is maybe quite similar to what was described yesterday by the people from Sweden. There is something like 12,000 people in rough homelessness, but the problem of homelessness is much worse in Czech Republic because there is almost 250,000 of people that are living in bad conditions, in squats and things like that, or gardens, cars. And we are trying to solve all this problem and to make a policy towards this problem in Czech Republic on all the levels. So I think the strength of Platform for Social Housing is this complex approach, because we are trying to influence government, the local governments, politicians, also the chefs or bosses of the big NGOs. And Platform was established 2013, and since that time we are trying to influence the Czech laws, and finally we reached the goal, and this year, the spring, we pushed to the parliament the new law about social housing, and it's a really important step right now. Yeah. But the strength of our organizations is mostly in the improving the social services and coming with innovations and know-how. So thanks to European Housing First Hub and Training for Trainers, we came with the Housing First trainings for 1 day, which is delivered to people from state administration and people from NGOs that are just cooperating with us. And then there are 2 and 4 days trainings, which are for people who wants to really do housing first. And we had already 10 years of summer school, housing summer school, which is pretty popular between the participants or trainees there. Yeah. We are also trying to involve some innovations like HCD, which is a human-centered design, and to influence the people that are in the state administration, the clerks, and also the politicians, and to convince them that it's really important to cooperate on some systematic way. So this kind of networking is also really important. And here are my colleagues who are also responsible for the fidelity check and fidelity measurements. And it's really important for us to keep the brand of Housing First on some level, yeah, that is that we can be proud. Yeah. So there are also other things we are doing, like publishing some text for the people, I don't know, for this fidelity assessment and advocacy. So we are also writing articles to some newspapers on social media, just to describe the situation of the people and to have some nice stories that this approach really works. So this is in a nutshell about Platform for Social Housing.
That's great, David. And I think especially what you mentioned about the training, I think it also echoes a lot of the training we do at the Housing First Europe Hub, like you mentioned, and also I think in other networks, that the training isn't necessarily just for frontline workers to be able to deliver high quality support and services, but it's also to create a space where you can train and build a network of advocates and champions for Housing First, who then go on to do really different kinds of jobs. And so maybe not working in Housing First directly, but working in municipalities or working in ministries or working in national coordinations. And I think that's something, as Housing First becomes more and more established, that we need to remember the impact of that training and the power that it has, so that we keep it going. Because I think some people might just say, oh, we've been doing it for 10 years, we don't need to do it anymore. But I think everyone can see in their own country how that has quite an important ripple effect onto other parts of the systems. Thank you. Okay, next on my list is Julia.
Okay. I have to get up because the slide is a very new one for me as well. So I need to have a look on it, sorry. I prepared some facts about homelessness in Germany. So you see the number of homeless people, almost numbers of people on the streets, and in hidden homelessness, same as in Austria. So we've got different countings on people on the streets and people in hidden homelessness. And we've got massively increasing numbers of homeless people and rough sleepers in Germany. So we've got a lot of things to do in Germany, but even if we talk about 50,000 people on the streets and Housing First in Germany, it's not that many people on the street, that many people if you think about 83 million people in Germany. So if our goal is to solve this problem, it's not that big group. So we've got some facts about Housing First as well. We started the first Housing First program or service in 2015, so it's a 10 years old discussion in Germany, not that long. I know. We started in Düsseldorf. Then a few other programs or services started in the next years, and we had a first network meeting in 2020 because everybody was able to work online because of pandemic. So we had a connection with more than 20 Housing First services then, and we checked that there was a discussion about both models of Finland and US, but nobody was really strong in discussing it. But most of them were starting with a US pathways model. So there was a desire, there was a big discussion, like almost everywhere, do we need Housing First, what kind of Housing First, which target group, all this stuff. And there was a desire for professional Housing First association as a special association, just doing Housing First topics. So we started that. We founded an umbrella organization, Housing First, in 2020-23, and that's what I'm doing now. And actually we have more than 30 organizations actually organized in Germany. We've got almost 50 Housing First services all over Germany, and most of them are organized with us all over Germany. And we've got a federal government since last year, which is a bit special because normally if you're a young organization like we are, you don't get this funding. So we're a bit proud of doing this and that we get the funding and to have Housing First as an important theme in the political discussion. So what do we do then? We were growing up as a grassroots growing organization, something like that, and we have a transfer of knowledge doing webinars all over Germany. We also have an internal working, or more working groups, like a peer working group, social services working group, housing scouts, team leaders. So they organize internal, and nobody has to find out a new solution, so we can learn from each other. It's important to have it. And of course, we are working on different levels, like working with municipalities, communities, state, federal, international level, all this stuff. But I only have one slide, and we're discussing, so that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. But don't worry, we'll give you more time to talk. I mean, I think just to pick up on one of the last points you made, the importance of having like federal funding or government funding for the national platform. I think that's something really important and essential to think about and keep in mind. And from what we've done across Europe, we know that the best and the most effective national networks and national coordinations on Housing First have stable funding, stable staff, and that things are really put at risk if that funding is reduced and cut. So I think that's something maybe we can talk about a bit later. But I'll now hand over to Muriel for a bit about Belgium.
Yes, what you just said is the perfect transition to introduce myself, because I'm actually not the Belgian coordinator of Housing First, because there is one, but our function and our fundings are not secured at all, actually, because the new Minister for Social Integration is a right-wing Flemish nationalist who shows a great disinterest for homelessness issues and for everything related to federal coordination. So we have a problem with this coordination in Housing First in Belgium right now, but the good thing is that Housing First is managed at the regional level in Belgium. So at this scale, at this regional scale, things are going well, but we really missed a national coordination, a strong one, because we have one. So I'm not the national coordinator, but I'm the oldest one to do Housing First in Belgium, so I know a little bit the program. Not the oldest one in age, of course, in experience. I hope so. I've been hired 12 years ago to launch Housing First in Belgium with 5 other projects in 4 cities. And there was not so many things. I was just hired with this book, the Pathways to Housing book, and the experiences in all the other countries. And I remember my first days at work. It was at the Housing First Europe conference in Amsterdam. Maybe some of you were there, and it was really exciting and wonderful to start a new job and discovering all these really interesting projects and this big movement towards Europe to change the homelessness and the mental health sectors. It was really, really great to start with it. And I had the chance also to be part of the Train the Trainer sessions with Tamara and David. And yes, definitely working with the European level is really helpful and really important to do Housing First. At the Belgian scale, we started the program, so in 2013, with a really create national coordinator with fundings, with the support of the administration, of the minister, and we had the opportunity to build up a 3 years experimentation and to develop the project. So the first years were really great, and our coordinator was really skilled in communications. So she really helped to spread up the model and to develop it. And now I am managing a project in Brussels that have rehoused and supported more than 120 people. At the Belgian scale, we have a little less than 6,000 persons living on the streets or in shelters, the ethos 1 and 2 categories. And we count 46 projects in Belgium, 21 in Flanders, 16 in Wallonia, and 9 in Brussels. So you really see the regional scale. Housing First, it's managed by the region and not so much in the federal level. And Housing First Belgium has the opportunity to rehouse and support it more than 2,000 people in 10 years.
Great, thank you, Muriel. I think, yeah, it's linking to that issue around the national coordination and needing that sustained funding is, yeah, it's really important. And I think it's also quite interesting to be able to talk about, yeah, national level in a federal country, like Germany, like Austria, where even if it's not the national federal level's responsibility or jurisdiction to deliver services in housing or in support, that role is really essential, that it's a national level role to bring all of the actors together. So yeah, I think we could perhaps talk about that too, because I think it's a very important, but you have to be quite diplomatic in your advocacy around that. So we understand that, but we hope that working together it can be helpful.